Hello and welcome to another Retro Crazy. This is part 2 of the Pink Gameboy Pocket, and in this episode I'm going to be looking at the screen and an annoying fault that appeared on testing. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. This is actually a few weeks later, and I've been trying to track down a replacement Game Boy Pocket screen. I did manage to find one on eBay. It sold, and I was outbid quite considerably, and it sold for over £30, which, you know, for something like this is crazy these days. So what do? Well, that's no good. So I had to resort to going for an upgrade. And this is done by funnyplaying.com, and it's the current crop of IPS screens. It comes in this really natty sort of NES style Game Boy case, obviously oversized, and it contains touch sensor, some tape, a glass lens, and you can select it with or without power, LED hole, and one screen. This is pre-fitted, which is nice. The screen is 11% larger, which means there is going to be modification needed to the original case. It is more power hungry, so I don't have a lot of choice there, but it is backlit. It is adjustable in brightness. You can also change the color palette for different screens. So we're going to fit this instead. Now this was £40 on funnyplaying.com's website, and it got through with really no import, so that was quite nice. Now I have been playing with the case. The case we'll see shortly when we do some modification to it, but look, the funny marking has gone. I've got a little bit on the edges, but I've been sunbrighting this and the lower, so that's come out really nicely. Really pleased with that. There is a manual, and it shows you where you need to remove the supports, because obviously this and the size it is just too big to fit in here. So we have a number of areas that we need to cut to get this to go in. However, before we go anywhere, we have to test this before fitting to make sure everything's fine. So we're going to need the main board back in. Now the screen itself does need power to this tab, and you have to test before fitting and before soldering anything. So I'm going to solder a small wire where it says you're supposed to from the switch. That I'll have loose, and we'll power this separately. So that will drop in for testing. Obviously I'll clip it up. I won't need any of these bits, but I'm going to have to be able to power it, and it gives me an excuse to use my new bench power supply. So I'm literally going to run the 3 volts through the system, which will allow me to power it on and check and see that I'm getting a display on the screen. So first, let's solder this up. So with that test confirmed and that the screen is working, let's desolder this, pop the screen out and prep the case. Funny Playing on their website, they do show full instructions about where everything should be cut out. And you can see we've got all of this which needs to come out. We've got this little bottom section here, and then there are two little protrusions out the side which also need to come off. So following this diagram, I need to cut all this, and the lamp, it says we need to cut about 1/3 of its size out of the edge. Basically, they then show you the diagram of everything that needs trimmed down once it's done, including what you need to take out, and it shows you it's all cut. And then fitting the tape, fitting the screen, down to installing the screen itself and putting your buttons and everything back in. So let's crack on, follow the instructions and get that done. So I've marked out exactly what needs to be trimmed back, just so you at home can see. And we're going to do that as recommended by them with a set of flush cutters. And this, as they say, is the point of no return. So there we are. That's a lot of cutting and fine tuning to get everything just right. However, what we can now do is test fit and have the screen drop down nicely into place. There's a little bit of up and down movement, but no side to side. There's a lot more to come off this than I realised. But now we're ready to tidy up and move on. So now that all the test fitting's done, I've got to install this, and I've actually found if you stick it in that way, it's absolutely perfect. Looks great. Need to take out this centre first. Okay, so with that cut, I can now take the backing off and stick it down. Next, I'm going to peel this off, and importantly, I'm going to take the backing off, and when I do this and stick this down, that's it, it's going to stick onto the LCD panel. So here goes. And according to the instructions, the important bit is the top left corner. Now, because I've removed this, I'm going to put the glass on next, even though they do say it's one of the last steps. So with that all done, let's look at some reassembly. So that leaves us two things to do, one to fit the touch sensor and the other to fit a power wire which goes from this point to here. So that's next. So before we put the back on and button everything down and test with batteries, let's go back to the bench power supply and see if everything still works. So there we go, it's done, it's complete in this absolutely gorgeous June evening. There is one small annoyance. I can see a tiny bit of hair or something underneath the glass lens, and this does look like it's slightly out of alignment, but I don't see how it can move further over, so unless the glass is wrong, I don't know. However, let's pop in the EverDrive and find out if the batteries have got enough to power this. So that's working. The screen is absolutely lovely. Unfortunately, we have no sound. So it could just be a speaker problem. So let's pop it open and have a look. So now that back's off, I can see the speaker is fine. Easiest way to test is to check if it's working through headphones. So yep, I'm getting the power on, the static crackle, and then the ding as the Game Boy powers up. So I think we have a faulty speaker. I don't have a spare, so I'm just going to order one up. So just after I ordered the replacement speaker, I realised I could have just done a test across the speaker here to see what it was reading. So we're looking for, I don't know, 4-8 ohms, something like that. Let's see what we get. Nothing. So let's replace this speaker. So there we have it, one working pink Game Boy Pocket. We had a very dead screen, and unfortunately that's just for the bucket. We then found that while initially I had sound, it turns out that this speaker is, well, it's died, so that needed replaced. And this is the little casing that I got the replacement speaker from Funny Playing. And I cut a piece of the foam and it works very nicely. Because now if I, ooh, peely label time. Oh, there we go. Now if I tap this side, we should be able to start cycling through the colours. I don't know if you can see that. Hope you can. There are some that are, there you are, definitely a distinct different colour, green, yeah. So we can cycle through all the different screen colours that it does, inverse. So you can choose red, reddy pink, I suppose it matches. And if we hit start, I have no idea, I never played it before, and you know how bad I am at these games, so apparently good luck, I might need it. Okay. So they take 2 hits to kill so far. Yeah, I really am very good at this. But hey, hopefully you're not watching these for my playing ability, because if you are, you're getting very, very disappointed, or equally as shocked. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's fun doing these. I do enjoy doing these. I do this purely to keep these things going, and this would have been dead a long time ago if it hadn't been for idiots like me who invest way too much time and effort in building these. Oh, what have I got now? Some sort of shieldy beam weapon. Okay, no idea. But please remember to like and subscribe. Hey, drop me a comment, I don't mind. I do my best to try and respond to them. And hopefully we'll see you on the next Retro Crazy.